Hey y'all, it's Mary. It is Sunday night and this is Stamps-N-Lingers. I appreciate y'all joining. I'm sorry I'm a little late. I was doing some last minute prep. This has been a busy day. So I'm actually going to take a half a second. Hey Jean, hey Susan, hey Nioka. I hope you're on. And Julie, hang on just a second. Refresh your screens. I should be on now. Hang on just a minute. Yep, I'm coming in. Naturally, Facebook has changed their their interface here, so you never know. Hey Karen, glad to see you. Denise, Christina, I appreciate y'all coming on. We are going to make, now this is a fun little Halloween card. You'll see tomorrow on my post, I don't do a lot of Halloween cards. It's not my favorite holiday. And I think it's probably because we live down a third of a mile driveway, and so we get no trick-or-treaters. So all the fun part is kind of, well, it doesn't exist. So there you have it. Hey Jean, hey Sharon and Judy, I'm glad you're all with me. So anyway, I prefer, frankly, the fall and Thanksgiving and Christmas kinds of things. But all of that said, I had to make a Halloween card with this fun spooky cat stamp set. Because, well, I frankly love the cat, I love the owl, I love the witch's hat, and I will be playing with those a few more times. And the cat punch, you've seen a couple of cards that I've done already with this. And this time I'm going straight up Halloween. And when you combine all of this with the Spooky Night DSP, it's kind of a surefire winner. So, hey Julie, glad you're here, I appreciate it. Hey Lou. Appreciate it. Kathy, how are you? What's fun about this is that these cat images are perfect punches with this, and that's what we use today, and I kind of like that. But look at the rest of this pretty paper. It's fun. And a lot of these you really could use for other than Halloween cards, and so you'll probably see some more of that. I do really love this paper. How fun are those little squares with the tree and the moon? And think how cute they'd be with this owl stamped right over the top. So it's very nice paper, and I've used a couple of the more geometric black and very vanilla and pumpkin pie pieces. And then of course you get into some witch's hats that would be easily fussy cut, a little more geometric. I've had a lot of you sign up for the paper shares, and I appreciate it. Hey Nioka, I'm glad you made it on. Some pumpkins. So if you signed up for my paper shares, you will be getting a little bit of a little sampling of all of these papers, and I think you'll enjoy it. So let me set this aside and show you the actual card that we're going to do. You can see it's pretty simple to put together, pretty fast, and you have to credit a couple of dies and an embossing folder. We've got the woodland embossing folder you can see there, and then just a plain circle of vanilla for the moon, and then a couple other pieces of DSP along with a little sentiment. And then on the inside I stamped owl eyes in pumpkin pie and cat faces in tuxedo black. I love them. I went a little crazy. I can't help it. I think they're cute, and it's my card, and so that's what I did. And then of course we have an envelope and a flap. So I'm going to set that where I can kind of keep an eye on it. And the first thing I want to do is go ahead and pull my cat paper back, and we'll go ahead and get our little punch ready. You can see I've already punched one out, so I'll have to cut a little bit there to get to him. I hope y'all have had a great day. We had a good time, went up to the Athens area by the University of Georgia, where my friend Chris is he's a rising third-year vet student. He's a class of 2019, so he will be Dr. Chris in a couple of years. Amazing to me that they have grown up so fast. You can see that is like a perfect punch. What isn't to love about that? I mean, seriously, I love that. I love it. I love it. And I think you probably saw my card of last week where I just cut a piece of pretty kind of paisley DSP and used that just straight up with no faces or anything. So let's set this aside. Here are our card cuts. This will all be on the blog tomorrow, so don't worry if you don't have it. Somebody give me a thumbs up that the video is playing, because it is not doing anything on my screen. I just want to be sure I'm still live. Let me just double check. Looks like I'm still live. Okay, so we have our basic piece of thick, very vanilla cardstock. It is 4 1/4 wide by 11 inches long, and it is scored and folded at 5 1/2 inches, and that'll be our card base. So I'm going to set it aside. Then we've got some DSP, and you can see this is just 2 patterned pieces from the Spooky Night DSP. This is 2 3/4 inches wide by 5 1/8 inches long, and its mat is 1/8 of an inch bigger on both ends. Then I've got a card front, 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and a mat, another 1/4 or 1/8 inch bigger, and a very vanilla 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 with its mat. And then I have a piece that has disappeared, of course, because why wouldn't it? Yes, where did it go? Well, let me grab another piece. Hang on just a second. Really all it is, I just needed a scrap piece of pumpkin pie cardstock to make this square. And this is a little tip I'll give you, and I'll probably repeat myself because, you know, that's what I do. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Kathy, for letting me know that this is working. So when you're going to do a dry embossing and you want an actual size of something, for example, if you're making a card front where you're taking the card front size and dry embossing it, I recommend that you cut your piece a little bigger than the actual finished card front. So if you want 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, which is my normal size, then I would probably give myself an 1/8 or even, you know, 1/4 of an inch bigger in both directions. Then dry emboss the panel and then cut it down to size. What happens is when you start squishing up these fibers, that tends to shrink the paper. So if you've ever cut a piece of cardstock, thought it was going to fit perfectly, and then dry embossed it and found it was too small, one way or the other or both ways, that's what's causing the problem. So what I have here is a stitched shapes framelit square that's 2 5/8. So what I did is I will emboss my panel first, and then I will cut the piece out of it that I need so that it's the right size. But I get ahead of myself, so hang tight. All right, to start with, and now Karen, you're on. Please don't oh yes, cutter doesn't cut through the embossing even if it's a new blade. It is difficult, so here's a tip. Let me show you the tip. Pretend this is embossed. Pick your trimmer blade guide up. Move, don't use the score one because that will not cut no matter what. Move the cutting blade into the actual cardstock. Give it a push to start, and then go either way, and you're going to find that it cuts much better. Also, remember, some of the thicker cardstocks are either easier or harder to work with depending on how you look at it. Sometimes if you take those panels that are kind of flimsy, and I want to say like very vanilla, regular very vanilla cardstock is not flimsy, but it's not very thick, and once you emboss it, that does break down those fibers. So you have to be kind of careful, take your time, slow down. It does, however, work very nicely if you are then cutting with a framelit or a thinlet. Okay? So there's that, Kathy. And Karen, also, don't let me forget to show y'all how to do the Billy Moan bow before we get done here. I tried my darndest to make a Billy Moan bow fit on this card, but it simply would not, and so for the sake of the card, I gave up. All right, so hang on, I gotta get a drink. Been a long day, a lot of talking. Okay, so first we're going to make our little DSP pieces. So I'm taking the 2 3/4 inch piece by 5 1/8, and I am putting it on Hey Sue, glad you could join us. Thank you. And thank you, Kathy. I hope that tip will help you guys out. We're going to mat it on its piece of pumpkin pie like a sieve. And then we'll do the same with the card front. Right after I persuade the fast fuse that it really does actually want to fuse anything at all, fast or otherwise. Now, when I first started this card, I actually cut one of these little tree moon vignettes, and it just wasn't right. It wasn't the right size for what I wanted, and it just didn't look right. So I thought, well, I will just make my own tree moon vignette. So there we go, like so. All right, and now I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue. The Billy Moon bow can be easy. I discovered after 3 attempts, yes, 3, and I will show them to you. Some twines work more nicely than others. And the ones I was trying to use, the basic black and berry vanilla, we just went round and around until finally I said, nope, I am done with that. So all I'm doing is adhering that with a little liquid glue to my card front, like so. And now I'll set that aside, put my lid on here, and I'm going to take that piece of cardstock that I showed you just a second ago, and I'm going to emboss it in my Woodlands Teeth, one of my very favorites. I was so glad when this came back. I can't even begin to tell you how glad I was when this came back. So let's get Mr. Big Shot out. And if you've got the adapter, remember you take the thin die adapter out, and then you make your sandwich with just the bottom. Yeah, Karen, I'm usually kind of lucky actually. Yeah, pumpkin pie, Julie, is a good color. It is. It's not, you know, like Denver Broncos orange. Denver Broncos orange doesn't work for me, but this one has a little more, I don't know, brown. I'm not enough of an artist to be able to say what color has toned this down, but it's much more palatable to me. All right, so put our sandwich back together. And now I have a piece of cardstock. Now here's the honest to God truth, y'all. I had a piece that was only 1/4 of an inch or so bigger all the way around than what I needed, but it disappeared. Sometime between when I put everything out and when I started, it disappeared. And so I'm using what is a gross overuse of cardstock. That's way too much cardstock. I didn't need to do that much. And so y'all are going to be like, oh my gosh, Mary, why are you wasting so much cardstock? All right, so this is the largest of the square stitch shaped framelits. Do y'all not love the stitch shaped framelits? I mean, serious. Is it not the most bueno? So I'm just going to, since I have a whole panel of it, I'm going to just get the trees that I like the best on there. And then I am going to, yes, not garish, that is correct. And then I'm going to just cut that out. Alrighty. It's also important that you make a sound effect when you're cutting things, otherwise it's just not right. Alright, so there's my stitch shaped framelit. I'm going to set that aside. And while I have Mr. Big Shot sitting here, I'm going to cut, right after I find it again, I'm going to cut a branch with the Seasonal Layers Thinlits. Now this has to be one of the more versatile sets that we've got right now, and happily it's in the annual catalog, so it's around at least until next summer, if not longer. Hey Kirsty, you may not have heard of the Billy Moan bow. I actually found it on Pinterest, and I went and I watched her video, And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. And then one day I decided I would. And so I did. And it turned out to be pretty good. And they're actually not bad. They do take a little practice. But, you know, that's what we do, right? We practice. We practice and we call it card making. Okay, so now I have a little branch and I'm just going to set him aside so that I can lose him before I need him again. So we'll put the big shot away until I have to make another one. Y'all, Finn had kind of a day. He was in his kennel all day from 7:30 this morning until we got home at about 4:45. But it was okay because he had his fan on him and he was watching HBO, the comedy channel. There's that piece. I told you it was here. It was right here under my nose. Gosh, Mary. Okay. Okay, this is the inside and the envelope, so we're going to set it aside. I might be a little tired today. Sorry. All right. Yep, Julie, you are correct. The stitch shape framelits, love them. I loves them so much. Okay, now we're going to just quickly and easily assemble our little vignette. And I'm going to use embossed side up because I like it the best. And I'm using a little bit of liquid glue because it does give me a half a minute to change my mind when I put it in the wrong spot. Not that I've ever done that. No. All right. And Karen, you're probably about to see me put something on crooked because it's that kind of day. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I'm just putting that on, and then my moon. And y'all, this is a 2 1/8 inch circle, and I cut it with the circles layering framelits. Uh-oh, hang on a minute. I lost you. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, here we go. Why are y'all laughing? What did I say that was funny? I don't even know. Okay, here we go. So this is the moon. Y'all watching the eclipse tomorrow? Are you excited? Have you got your glasses? I did not get glasses. I did not think I cared. And then all of a sudden, like Friday afternoon, I started to care. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So Helen, Georgia, which is in the top part of Georgia and is maybe 70 miles from here, is getting a totality. It's 100%. And I am not going. I mean, seriously, I will be dead before this happens again. But I'm not going. So why not? Yeah, that's craziness. Okay, so here's how I did my branch. You can see it kind of overlaps, and that is actually what I wanted. I wanted it to fall off the edges of my card front. So what I did, because every time I messed with it, this didn't really look right, and that really didn't look right. And so what I did, and I'm going to do it again, is I actually adhered my branch to my cat, and then I trimmed his extra parts so that he would look square up like he was sitting on the branch. So I did all that, and then I covered it with my sentiment, so it didn't really matter anyway. But I'm going to do it again, just in case I put my sentiment in the wrong spot this time. Because that is, in fact, how I roll. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the back of my branch. And I want it about, oh, where did I put it on here? Because that actually worked out pretty well. Okay, right about there. So just let that set a minute so that when I fussy cut him, it doesn't, you know, hurt him. And I promise it doesn't hurt him because it's not like really cutting. Thank you, Karen. Someone will share my glass. Well, you know what? We have several actually high-end welding helmets that I believe are 13 or better. And that's what we're going to use to take a look. We're going to get like 97 or 98% here, so that'll be pretty close. Okay, so you can see what I'm going to do here. And is this an excess of doing? Probably, but I'm going to do it because I did it the first time. And I'm just going to give that a little trim right at the edge of the branch to get the extra off. You know, it's like when my husband builds stuff and I'm like, Wayne, no one will ever see that is off by a 1/16 of an inch. and he'll say, all of you who are married, he will say, I will know it's off, so we are fixing it. So that's why I'm trimming this, because I will know that the cat is not properly trimmed under this branch if I don't do it. Okay, so there we go. So now he actually looks like he's sitting on a branch, right? Yay, okay. All right, here we go. Thank you, Karen. All right, here we go. We're gonna put him on. We're gonna get some glue onto all of him right here like this. I gotta turn my fan on, folks. Too hot. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know what it's doing where y'all live, but it is hotter than a mow here. And a mow is pretty hot, just so you know. It is hot, hot, hot. Even the horses, who were all hungry, and they're always pissy, you know, when you bring them in. They're ready to come in, get under the fan, get their dinner. They couldn't even bring themselves to hurry. They just strolled out. Plodded is actually a more appropriate word, I suspect. All right, we'll get some liquid glue there. And then we will set him down. And I actually kind of tilted him just a little bit. There we go. Like so. There. All right. Now, we'll set him aside to dry. And I'm going to make my embossed sentiment. And that is from the Spooky Cat, which is bundled with the Cat Punch. So you'll be able to get 10% off, which is good. You know, 10%, is that a lot? No, but it's 10%. And 10% is 10%. That is my theory. And if you can get it cheaper, you should get it cheaper. It's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, what I'm going to do is locate my embossing buddy, which has disappeared a little bit. All right, here we go. Give this a little emboss. And then I'm going to silver, I'm going to heat emboss this in silver. Because obviously silver. All right, and here's what I'm going to do. Watch closely, I hope you can see it. Can you see my stamp? What I'm doing here? Okay. So you'll see I'm just tapping, tap, tap, tap in with the word happy. Okay? And I'm going to stamp him, doesn't matter where. Does not matter where. Stamp him there on that black. And then I'm going to stamp, stamp, stamp with Halloween. Just the Halloween. Probably hard to see this, y'all, I'm sorry. And I'm going to put him away from that first one because I want to have plenty of room to do my fussy cutting. And I'm going to just put him just like that. Hold him for a beat. And if I don't get a good one, you'll know why. Because I didn't use my silicone mat. There we go. And then I'm just putting on my embossing powder and tapping him off. And giving a good blow. You got to blow your powder, people. Blow your powder. And then I'm going to take my little brush, and I'm just brushing around them just to be sure, because even though I'm going to cut them, I don't want extra stuff. So that's what I've done there. Now I will heat emboss it right quick. I love heat embossing because I love this. Ooh, there it is, all of a sudden. So cool. Alright. So there's Happy Halloween. Let it cool for just a second while I put my Versamark away. Put my lid on my powder so I don't get powder all over the living room. And then I will just fussy cut these two little dudes. I don't know why I don't do this more often, because it actually is one of my favorite ways to make a sentiment, where you individually stamp words and then cut them out. Get that trimmed up just a little bit there. Alright, and then do Halloween. Okay, and then I'm gonna blow all my little pieces away, like that. All right, now, oh, Sue, yeah, I hear you. Hey, Robbie, thank you for joining. I'm gonna be at work too, but one of the ladies at work actually was thinking she would have a meeting in the middle of tomorrow afternoon, and somebody actually had the nerve to say, you know, really, nobody's going to be doing much of anything. We're all going to be watching the not happening again for another 70 years total eclipse of the sun. So anyway, what I'm fixing to do is I'm going to give these little dudes a little bit of a highlight, and this is just a Signo Uniball pen. Great deal. I bought 3 of them on Amazon. I don't even remember how much, but it wasn't very expensive, and they are really, really good. So when I work with the gel pen, I just get it started, and then I'm going to make some little faux stitches just like that. It's very close to the words, and it's not much. And if you don't have a gel pen, you probably should have one. They're kind of cool. 2, if you don't have a gel pen, you can probably make this without. But I kind of like the extra little highlight that it gives the words. It's one of those little details. God is in the details, right? Okay, so there's Halloween. And here we go. We'll do happy, 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 happy. Like that. I actually think it does make it stand out just a little bit on the card. I think they could kind of disappear without it. It's not very large. I'm trying to hold that. Stay right there without touching it, because I don't want to smear my stitches. You don't ever want to smear stitches. That's not good. All right, there we go. Now, all we're going to do is take some mini dimensionals, and I'm going to put those on the back of both sentiments. Both sentiments without, I don't need all that stuff. Okay. Y'all, my little friends who are not little anymore, it's amazing to see them looking like, no, that didn't even come out right. It's amazing to see them as adults, because I've known them for a long time, and I still remember the little curly-haired kids who I couldn't tell apart. I am so tickled to say I am finally, after all these years, getting to where I could tell the difference. They've grown up, they've matured enough now that they're starting to look like 2 different people instead of the same of each one. Alright, so now I'm going to pull off the sticky witchies. Oh, I already did that. Good Lord. And I'm going to kind of put these on sort of, you know, real artistically, like, because I'm an artist. Alright. Anyway, they did a good job. Matt bought that house up there. He bought it at an area that has lots of vet students. You know, they're there for 4 years and then they leave, so they're always looking for relatively inexpensive housing and a good place to live. He's only 2 miles from the vet school. I mean, he just really did a very mature thing. So then I'm going to change that up a little bit, because there we go. I don't like them to be the same exact angle. You know, it's just a thing. It's a thing. Okay, so now I'm going to take a piece of basic black solid baker's twine and a piece of very vanilla, and we'll just cut a length that's too big, and we're going to do about, oh, here, you guys want to see my Billy Moan bows with this? Did not work at all. I mean, seriously, no matter what I did, I could not make a bow that looked right. It was too clumpy. I tried it with black and very vanilla. Didn't really work, so I tossed them aside and went with your basic old bow. Sometimes simple is the way to go, and that was the case with this one. So I'm just taking both pieces and making my bow, checking it twice, getting it about the size I want. I'll go there. I think I want it a little bigger, actually. This is all very scientific, y'all. Do what makes you happy with your card. It's important for you to be happy. I like that right there. So I am now going to put some liquid glue like that and put that on at a jaunty angle, and I'm going to leave it be. I will trim the tail in just a second after it's had a moment to dry, and then I'm going to put on some black rhinestones. How cool are these? I love these things. They're just neat. Just neat. Okay, so I'm going to pick up a couple of these smallish ones. And what I did before is I just put them over one of the little dots on the DSP. So they don't scream, "Hello, I'm here, I'm a dot. You should look at me, I'm shiny." But they're there, and you can see them. And then the second one I'm just going to put right about there. And the third one, let's see, let's put him down here, like there. Alright, so then I will trim the tail off of the bow and set him aside so that everything can dry. Now, we're going to do the inside. You can, just a reminder of what we did there. Put my rhinestones away. This is pretty easy peasy, like totally easy peasy. So I'm pretty sure y'all can do it. There's only one little thing you have to kind of keep in mind, and I'm fixing to show it to you right here. So what I do is I put my owl on one side, and then I just put my cat face on the other side, on the other face of my block, like that. And let's go ahead and stamp my little friend cat face. Okay, here we go. This is going to be in black, because, you know, black cats. And there's not a lot of rhyme or reason. All I know is, what? Do not rock the stamp set. We're just going to put him around. I love this little image. I just love it. And I'm just kind of alternating him up. Is he not cute? I love him. Love him. And I'm going to put in a few more because I like it a lot. I really do. If you don't like so many, don't put so many. But who wouldn't want more black cat faces? I mean, really. There we go. Okay. Now, in an excessive amount of efficiency, I'm going to, no I'm not, because I need to do those alternating. See, I almost screwed that up, y'all. What is up? I almost screwed that up. Like cray-cray. Like cray-cray. Oh, see, what happened is I was, my screen froze, so I missed a whole bunch of comments. I'm sorry, y'all. Yes, 12 or higher, 13 is what I believe we've got. So if it isn't, you can bet I will not be looking at the eclipse. Yes. Julie, you can cut straight. And it doesn't even matter. It's kind of a, you know, I could have cut the stamp in pieces. True statement. Absolutely. And you know, it's early days yet, Karen. I might yet. And this one I may. See how this is working out? Where it's got the eyes and then under it, Happy Halloween. Well, I don't want Happy Halloween. I just want eyeballs. So I'm just inking up just the eyeballs. Or I'll do what I did the other day, which was just start inking and having a party and ink the whole freaking thing and stuck it right on my card. So I had to start over. Kind of annoyed me just a little bit. Yeah. See, I'm trying to do it again. It isn't difficult to do, but you do have to think about it because your inclination is to just, you know, tap, tap, tap the whole card or the whole stamp all over the ink pad, and if you do that, then, well, then you're in a different world and you have to fix that. Alright. So we'll put a few like that, and then I'm going to add a couple down here like so. Oh, that didn't fix, but I'm going to look, see what I did? See what I did? I'm officially going to call it a day with the owl, except I'm going to put one more down here. Everybody hold your breath. Everybody hold your breath. There. And then I'll pull out my pumpkin pie marker and I will fix his little eye there. There we go. Good enough. You'll never know the difference. We'll never, never, never know the difference. And then we will fast fuse this to its mat and make an envelope, and we'll be done easy peasy, right? Aha! You are a believer of cutting your stamps. Well, that's good, Karen. I'm actually glad because I think it really does make things a lot easier. Now, if you were my other piece of cardstock, where would you have gone? Oh my goodness. I bet it's the one I cut up. No, it's not. It's definitely here somewhere though. I know that much to be true. Huh. Y'all, seriously, did you see the person who came and took it? Because it was right here. Wait one. I'll just, you know, hold that like that. Hold that thought, people. Hold that thought. Sometimes cardstock gets in my big shot, but it didn't this time. Oh, there it is. Nope, that's not it. Okay. All right, hang on, people. I'll cut another piece. Just a minute. Just a minute. Murmur amongst yourselves. Murmur, 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 murmur. Alright, there we go. Goodness. Y'all gonna quit watching me. She probably can't even get her stuff together. Goodness. Alright, so there's that. And then we'll take our thick very vanilla cardstock and get it folded over. Hey Lori, I'm glad you didn't miss the whole thing. Did you see it? It's on the left. No, see, this is the one that's embossed. It might have been this one to start with. No, that's not it. That is not the right one. It's around here somewhere, and it will show up very soon. I promise you. Right after I hit finish video. Yeah, okay. Momentarily confused myself. There's knots in the floss tonight, people. Alright. So what this should teach you, what is the lesson here, people? All of you Padawans, what is the lesson? The lesson is, even if you've been doing this, I don't even know how many videos this is now, but it's a few. It's still, you know, a thing. Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Karen. I appreciate that very much. I'm really glad that y'all just don't seem to expect perfect out of me, because I don't think I could ever deliver perfect. I just don't. Alright, there's the inside of the card. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back of my card front. And get that popped on. And then we'll see what I need to do to trim up just the end of my branch, because I want it hanging over, but I don't want it over the edge of the card, because that kind of makes it really hard to stick it in an envelope. But I want to trim it at the end because I want to see how little I can trim. In other words, how much I can leave overlapped, because I like that. I like how that looks. If I was perfect, you would quit watching? Okay, well then I will not be perfect, I promise. I'll do my best to never be perfect. Probably the easiest thing to promise that I can come up with right now. Okay. All right, I'll open that up. Do y'all know why I do that? Anybody? Bueller? 2 reasons. First of all, it's hard to get something on straight when it's doing that. And second of all, if I take the time to flip it and turn it, I know I'm putting the card front on the actual card front and not on the back. The card back. The back of the back card. All right, here we go. Let's get this put on. Like so. And you can see I have a little bit over the edge, so all I'm going to do is take my snips and I'm just going to kind of reach in gently and cut off just the edge like that. That way it's still overlapping the card front's edge, which I like, but it is not over the edge of the card itself, so it will still fit nicely in its envelope. So that, folks, is our card made with Spooky Night DSP, the Spooky Cat stamp set, and the Cat Punch, which is bundled. And there's the inside with the owl eyes and the cat faces. So now let me make an envelope right quick like a bunny. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like that, Lori. I hope that when this catalog goes live, y'all will be getting this because it's kind of rocking. There's no doubt. Okay, so now comes the time when we need silence in the audience. This is one of the most dangerous tricks ever devised. Make sure I don't have any extra. So what I am doing here is, thank you, Julie. Hey, Amanda. How are you? I'm sorry if I missed you coming on earlier. So this is why this is hard, because I have to go cat face black, owl eyes orange, cat face black, owl eyes orange, and you can see where the problem could come in, right? So y'all think good thoughts. So we're going to start with cat faces on both ends of our envelope. Should check that it's not right side up. Yep. Because, you know, folks, you can do this whole thing like this and then realize you've done the whole thing upside down and try to tell yourself it's just quirky. But anybody who gets it is going to be like, what in the world? So, cat face. Okay. Flip the stamp. Ink some eyes. And make sure that's not being eyes. Ink some eyes. I gotta pull this to me, people. I cannot see it. There we go. And ink some eyes. Flip the black. Ink in black. See, did you see me reach for that? Did you see me reach for that? No, I didn't do it. I mean, I did reach for it, but I stopped it just in time. How many envelopes? A lot. I buy a lot of envelopes. Because I'm just obsessive enough about it that if I've screwed it up, I just kind of have to get rid of it because I can't deal with it. I can't. Okay, so I'm starting to get to the critical part here where we have 2 things coming together. This does keep early Alzheimer's away, I'm pretty sure. Kirsty, you definitely want the new Cat Punch. I would even say you want the new Cat Punch, even if for some reason you didn't buy the Spooky Cat stamp set. I hope the Cat Punch sticks around forever. And furthermore, and heretofore, and also, I hope they come up with a dog stamp. How cool would a dog stamp? Look at how this is going to work out, y'all. Some days, even a blind squirrel finds a nut. I'll put that away. And put that right in the middle there. Like so. Alright, and now we have cat faces and owl eyes, because we all know that they would live side by side in perfect harmony, unlike, God help us, everything that's going on around the world right now. Alright, and now I'm going to put a final piece of my DSP. You could, if you prefer, also use this spottily one, but I kind of like the lines, so that's what I'm using, because I can. Alright. A small Cat Punch would really be good too. I love it. Yay, Linda! You are going to love it when you get it. I'm glad you've already already indulged. That is very good. Okay. Just a little line of liquid glue. And put this right here like so. Get my head in the way, sorry. I want to be sure I've got my paper up at the top of my envelope flat, where it belongs. Give it a good rub, and then a quick fussy cut. These little dudes are everywhere. Alright, here we go. Remember, what are the rules of fussy cutting? The rules of fussy cutting are you turn the paper, not the scissors. Looks a lot the same, but it isn't. Alright, and there we go. Alright, so there is the first Halloween card of the season for Stamps-N-Lingers. And I do hope you liked it. Okay, let me check the time, folks, because a few of us have a meeting. We've got 15 minutes. That should be enough for me to muddle my way through a Billy Moan bow to show y'all. And I'm going to use my favorite linen thread. Okay, all right, you ready? Am I in the screen? Let me double check. Let me double check. Yes, I'm in the screen. My fat hands are in the screen. Wait, let me read this from Julie. Paw prints. Yes, there are a whole lot of things that we could add, and I would like to see them make cat and dog things that aren't cartoony. Especially for those of us who are routinely and regularly asked for sympathy cards for the loss of a pet. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You take a long piece of your thread. We're going to just use the linen thread now. And you're going to wrap it once. Going to hold the end and wrap it once, twice, 3 times a lady, and 4 times around 4 of your fingers. Okay? And if you've got little tiny fingers, you may want to spread them out depending on how big of a bow you want. Still holding the thread. Now I'm going to go around 2 fingers. Once, twice. Sing it with me, people. 3 times a lady, 4 times, like that. And then cut the end, like so. Okay? And then get your fingers out of there. And then you can see everything is kind of cockamamie and wonky, so you kind of get it all to where this little circle is kind of in the middle of the big circle. And you kind of squeeze it all together like that. And give it a twist like so. You see what I'm doing there? And then take a little more of the linen thread and wrap it around a couple of times to hold it. And then cut it off, and know that you have it way too small of a little tail like I've done there. And then attempt to make your fat fingers tie that knot. Well, anyway, I'll get it tied. Hang on a minute, people. I'm going to take it off of there because I got to have a little more. Come on, Mary. Come on. Goodness. All right. Get that wrapped around like so. And then we're going to tie this off. I know I've already said that once, but now I'm going to actually try to do it. Okay. Alright. Tie that off like so. And then you can kind of mess with it and make it look pretty. Remember, this is not a perfect bow. It's not supposed to be a perfect bow. It wants to look a little bit messy, like so. Kind of separate the loops. Separate the loops. Trim these kind of ends if you want. I want. trim this end like so, and then you can adhere it however you like to your card front. And you can also do a second bow. You can do the same exact thing with perhaps a thinner bow like some of the seam binding. Make your bow like that and do the same thing again. Let me show you. Hang on 1 minute. I'm going to show you. Hang on, I'll be right back, guys. So what I did on this card is I made a similar kind of bow with the Peekaboo Peach seam binding, and I adhered it to the card front, and then I had this kind of a bow like so that I adhered to the Peekaboo Peach bow, and then I took a corrugated element and adhered it over the top of that. So this is, yes, Karen, I did need a third hand. Horse and unicorn stamp. Yep, that would be cool. So anyway, this is a fun little bow. You can play with it. You can do more or less loops as you like. The more you do, the kind of bigger and more makes a little more statement. But it looks good, and I like it. I like the fact that it's not so maybe not so formal as another bow. So that's how to do it. It's not very hard. Just give it a shot and see how it works. All right, y'all, I appreciate it. I'm gonna get signed off, and Karen and Amanda, I hope I'll see you in just a few minutes at Amy's Ink and Crew business meeting. Thank you all for spending your time with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. Enjoy the eclipse safely, and hope your work week is good. We will see you next Sunday. Thanks so much, y'all. Bye-bye.